Hey, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to do a book haul revisit for you guys. So for those of you that are new here, this is a kind of like a series that I've been doing on my channel the last couple years where I go back to an old book haul, and in this case, I'm gonna go back to April 2020 and see what books I purchased or hauled at that time and see which ones I've read and which ones I haven't read. And of the ones I haven't read, I'm gonna pick one to put on next month's TBR. And in the case that I have read them all, because it has happened before, I will go and pick a book from a previous book haul revisit that I still haven't read and go from there. So yeah, let's take a trip down memory lane and see what I hauled in April 2020. Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I am here to share with you a book haul. It's my first book haul of 2020. Yeah, my birthday was on March 27th, and my husband got me some books for my birthday, and then I bought two for myself for my birthday. So I have a little stack here to share with you, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. So the first book that I got for myself is a sequel to a book I just finished because I finished that book and decided I definitely want to read the second one. That book is Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend. This is the second book in the Nevermore series. I just completed Nevermore about like what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, something like that. Really enjoyed it. It's a great middle grade book, and I want to know what's going to happen. So this is the sequel. I have no idea what it's about, and I don't really want to know. I just want to read and find out. Okay, so I have not read Wondersmith, I'm ashamed to say, especially because I read Nevermore 2 years ago. I can't believe I let 2 years go by without reading the sequel, even though I really did enjoy Nevermore. I thought it was a really good book, and so I'm really surprised that I haven't picked that one up yet. So yeah, so far we're starting off with an unread book. Then I bought myself a book that I have been eyeing for like years. And I finally decided I'm just gonna buy for myself. I need to have it. And that book is Blackwater by Michael Mcdowell. Now this is a bind up. Originally this whole story was told through 6 paperback novels, and the publisher decided to bind them all together. So it's like an 800-page story. But this one, people say, is like his greatest work, even more so than the Elementals, which to me, the Elementals is my favorite of his. But this one deals with this mysterious woman who comes to this small town in Alabama, and the people in the town are pretty sure that she is somehow connected to this kind of urban legend associated with this creature that lives in the river. Okay, so I did read Blackwater last year. I listened to it on audio and it was great. I gave it 5 stars, even though I still think The Elementals is my favorite Michael Mcdowell so far. Blackwater was really good. The only thing I will say about Blackwater that I think a lot of people who go into it and end up disappointed, the reason that they do is because I think you go into it expecting like a straight up horror novel about this like river monster and this mysterious woman. And though it has that stuff, it's definitely not as horror heavy as you would think. It's more a family like epic. And so if you go into it with those expectations, I think you will like it a lot more. Though it didn't quite meet like the amount of horror I was expecting, I think the horror elements that were in there were still like top notch and great, and I loved it. But I also really loved the family drama of it all. So yeah, it was still a 5-star read for sure. So yes, another one, or not another one, first one on the red pile. Okay, so the rest of the books are books that my husband got me for my birthday. And I gotta say, he did really well. He got some really good ones. The first one that he got me is When Darkness Loves Us by Elizabeth Engstrom. And this is a book I had on my wish list totally because of Alex from Hey Little Thrifter. She read this book a while back, and when she reviewed it on her channel, I immediately added it to my TBR because it just sounded really good. It's about, I remember her saying it's about a girl who, for one reason or another, she is like seeks refuge in this cave, and there's like some sort of supernatural creatures or something in there with her. Okay, so I actually did read When Darkness Loves Us. I think I read that one last year too. And it was a 4-star read, I think, because it's actually 2 stories just kind of bound up together, so 2 novellas. And the first one, called When Darkness Loves Us, was a 5-star read. I absolutely loved it. And that was the one about, that I mentioned in the video, about a girl who, she basically ends up underground and she's pregnant. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It was awesome. The second one, I can't remember what it was called. It was called something like Beauty, something about beauty. And that one was a 4-star read. So it was still really good. It just wasn't like 5-star. So yeah, that was a really good, really good like bind up of 2 really good novellas. If you like horror novellas, you should definitely check out those 2. Next, he got me one that I have been so kind of scared to read. But Bobby from Bobby Reads Too Much, her and I are going to be buddy reading this summer. I think in August we're planning on buddy reading it. So I'm kind of glad he got it for me. But yeah, this is one that I'm a little bit scared of. And that is Brother by Anya Alborn. And the reason I'm scared of this one is because I've heard it has a lot of body horror and a lot of gore. And I tend to like get really like freaked out by like blood and stuff. Yeah. I get real queasy. But this one, but I also am like fascinated by the premise. So it's like one of those things where I want to read it, but I'm scared. Because it deals with a family that's kind of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sort of deal, where they, together as a family, they abduct young women and kill them. And just, you know, for funsies. And there's a boy in the family, though, one of the sons, I believe his name is Michael. He's kind of the black sheep and doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be a serial killer, and kind of wants to break away from the family. But then, and then he meets a girl, which further, you know, is pushing him in the other direction. And his family isn't so keen on that. Okay, so I did read Brother. Bobby and I read it, actually. We made it a Random Reads book club pick. And I think I gave it 3 stars. I think that it was very gory, like I was expecting, but for some reason, I think it just, I remember I listened to the audiobook, and I wasn't too keen on the audiobook. Like, I kind of wish I had read it physically, because I think I might have enjoyed it a little bit more, but I kind of just like, to me it was like, okay, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was my second Anya Alborn book. I think the first one I read was Within These Walls, and same thing, I listened to the audiobook of that one, and I kind of wish, again, that I had physically read it. So I think going forward, I'm gonna try to physically read her books, because for some reason the audiobooks just don't do it for me, and I'm kind of waiting still for her to like wow me with a book. So if you have any Anya Alborn recommendations out there, let me know. But yeah, that's another one on the red pile. All right, the next book he got me, it's one that I'm so excited to add to my collection. It's an unread one by Hunter S. Thompson called Fear and Loathing in America, The Brutal Odyssey of an Outlaw Journalist. And these are the Gonzo Letters Volume 2. So what this basically is, it's a big one, but it's basically a bind up of different correspondences that he had with various people, including like Jimmy Carter, Kurt Vonnegut, and others between 1968 and 1976. These are letters that he wrote back and forth with various people, and he took the letters and made them into a book. So, okay, yeah, I have not read that one yet. I'm still trying to read his books in order, and so I feel like there's a book I have to read before I read that one. If I want to keep doing things in order. So yeah, I obviously still really want to read it. It's definitely one that it's unread, but it's one I definitely want to keep on my shelves and read at some point. And then the last one he got me, I am so excited about, because I've been really intrigued by this book, but wasn't sure if I wanted to pay full price for like the hardcover. So he kind of made up my mind for me. He got me Imaginary Friend by Stephen Javosky. And this one, it's a bigger one, but the story just sounds so cool. So it's about a boy named Christopher, and he's 7 years old. Him and his mother moved to this small town in Pennsylvania. They're trying to get away from their abusive father, or, you know, Christopher's abusive father. And so they moved to this small town, and then not long after, Christopher goes missing, and for 6 days he is gone. But then he comes back, and he seems unharmed physically and whatnot, but when he comes back, he has this imaginary friend that he talks to. And he also has this mission that he feels like he has to complete, and that is to build this treehouse because he feels like it's going to somehow save his mother and the rest of the town. Okay, so I actually read Imaginary Friend at the end of last year. Was it already then? I think so. I listened to it on audio. The audiobook was awesome. And I ended up giving it 4 stars, I think. It was, up until a certain point, it was a 5-star read. I loved the overall like atmosphere and just creepiness that was going on in that book. It was so good. I like couldn't believe that it was the same guy that wrote Perks of Being a Wallflower, because it's so different from that book. But in the end though, it was a 4-star read because it was starting to feel a little bit long. And I know a lot of people, it does have some religious stuff in it that a lot of people just hated. And I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. But I can see where like people weren't expecting it and they didn't like it, but it didn't bother me that much. I think overall, as just like a horror novel, especially the first part, it was really solid. So I ended up really enjoying that one. All right, so those are the books from this haul. It was a pretty small haul. 4 of them I read, 2 of them I didn't read. So let me go grab the 2 I didn't read and pick one to put on my May TBR. All right, so the 2 unread books I had were Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend and Fear and Loathing in America by Hunter S. Thompson. So I think this should probably be a pretty easy choice. Oh wow, holding the book backwards. I'm gonna go with Wondersmith because just between these 2 right now, this one I'm pretty sure I have not read. See, I can't remember. Have I read the Gonzo Letters Volume 1? See, I don't know. I gotta look. But I'm just like, honestly, not in the mood for this right now. And it's just like so long. Where this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to read this book. I can't believe I waited 2 years. So I'm actually really excited to check this out. I still really don't know anything about this other than like, obviously it's the 2nd book in the series. So I might actually have to go back and do like a recap, read up on a recap of the first book because it has been 2 years and I don't remember everything that happened. So I think actually too, I might try to get this on audio because I've heard the audiobooks for this series are awesome. So yeah, this is it guys. Wondersmith, May TBR. Woo! All right guys, so I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I put in this haul and what you thought of them. Let me know if you have read the Nevermore series or Morgan Crow series or whatever it's called. I'm not sure what it's actually called. But yeah, let me know because I'd love to know if everyone has read it because I think the 4th book is coming out this year. I think. So I have some catching up to do. But yeah. All right, that's all I have. I hope you guys have a wonderful week and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.